Hello, 7As, receiving students and teachers.
Hello, Mr. Atumo.
Thank you. Sit down. To the receiving teacher, we're still on the same strand, same substrand, same learning outcome. To the receiving students and 7As, let's look at what we have learned in our previous lesson. The lesson topic which we covered in our previous lesson was on multiplying directed number as fractions. Now by now you should know how to multiply directed number fractions, and let us look at one of the recapping exercise to find out if we still remember the steps that is involved in calculating those fractions. Now on the screen I have the exercise for you. It says simplify the following. Likewise, what we did in our previous lesson, we are going to go through the steps thoroughly together, and I would like you to pay attention. As soon as we go through the steps, you follow what you have done as well. Now, when we simplify the following, what is the first step that we have to do, especially in multiplying directed numbers as fractions? What is the first step? 7As and receiving students. Jubilee, what is the first step?
The question.
Sorry?
Write the question.
Write the question. Very good. Like what Jubilee is saying, we are going to write down the question. Okay. Now, step 1, we write the expression and then we cancel the common factors in numerators and denominators. Is that clear? Now, when we do that, we have the working out on the screen. As you can see, when you simplify or cancel down, you should have new numbers. And you should know how to simplify or cancel down by now. So after doing that, the leftover numbers that you have will be the new fractions to work on. What is the second step? Ruti? Ruti?
Multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators.
Multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. But before you do that, what are you going to do? Ruti?
Check the signs.
Very good. So Ruti, when you check the signs, like the exercise we have on the screen, what do you think the rule that we are going to apply? If you check the signs, you say check in the signs. So when you check the signs, what do you think the rule will be? This exercise on the screen that we are trying to correct, what rule are we going to use?
CD.
Good try. I'm asking for the rule. You said check the signs. You are correct. But I'm asking, when you check the signs, which rule did you come across?
Negative times negative.
Very good. When you check the signs, you should come across this negative times negative, which is circled there in orange color. After checking the signs, you definitely know that the rule that you'll be using to work out the expression. So after that, what are you going to do? You are going to start applying the third rule by you multiplying the numerators and the denominators. And finally, you get your answer as a positive. Is that clear? Okay, very simple. If you happen to follow the steps carefully, you will understand what you are doing. And also you will come up with the correct answer. And be careful, very important thing is you have to check the signs when you are working out your answer. Let's move on to our next topic. Our next topic will be on directed number operations dealing with multiplication of decimals. In our previous lesson, we looked at multiplication of decimals. Directed numbers, subtraction of decimals. This time we are going to multiply decimals as in directed numbers. So 70s and receiving students, nothing new that you're going to learn today, but the thing that you have to remember is you are going to apply the same rule in multiplying. Okay? The rule in multiplying. For example, a negative multiplied with a negative, the answer you will get is always negative or positive? Positive. Very good. Now, so the rule again is on the screen. If you have forgotten, look at the screen and you will see the rule, which is used in multiplying either fractions, integers, or decimals. The same rule is applied. Well, class, let's look at one example on how we can multiply decimals. On the screen, I have the first example for you. It says simplify negative 3.8 times 0.05. The step 1 says write the expression as usual. What do you think the second step will be, 70s and receiving students? From your understanding from the previous lessons, what do you think the second step will be? Huh? Who can guess? What will be the second step? Beggy, what do you think the second step will be? Shannon, stand by. Beggy, what do you think?
Write the number sentence in column.
Again?
Write the number sentence in column.
Write the number sentence in column. Yes. Colin. Sorry, Colin. I've already selected Shannon. So, Shannon, what do you think? The second step.
Check the sign.
Check the sign. Colin, do you have the same answer as he?
Count the number of decimal places in the question and insert the decimal point.
Okay. Receiving students, I hope you have given such answers to your teacher. Now, let's look at the screen. What will be our second step? Our second step will be check the signs of the numbers and apply the rule. Thank you, Shannon. You were correct. You have to check the signs first. When you check the sign, what rule are you going to apply now? What rule are you going to apply when you check the signs? The signs are negative times positive. So what rule are you going to apply? Negative times positive is equals to negative. That's the rule that you are going to apply. And you know very well that your answer will be in negative or positive? Negative, because of the two signs there. Okay, after that, then, third step, you are going to multiply as for all numbers. You ignore the decimal numbers, the decimal point, and you treat the numbers as all numbers. Like, for example, negative 3.8 times 0.05. When I mean all numbers, that negative 3.8 can be written as only, it will be written as 38, and 0.05 will be written as 5. So that means they are in all numbers. It is easy to multiply decimal numbers when you ignore the decimal point and multiply it as all numbers. After you multiply it as all numbers, then you are going to count the number of decimal places in the question and insert the decimal point. Okay? So you should have your answer like that. When you multiply the whole numbers, after multiplying the whole numbers, you get in your answer as a whole number. But you go back and check your expression and see if the number of decimal places are correct. So in this case here, how many number of decimal places? How many number of decimal places? Negative 3.8 times 0.05. Can you count how many number of decimal places? Yes?
3.
Again?
3.
3, very good. There are 3 number of decimal places. From 3.8 is how many decimal place? 1. Times 0.05, how many decimal places there? 2. 0 and 5. Can you see that after the decimal place? So that gives us a total of 3 decimal places. So that 190, when we insert our decimal place, it will be 0.190. Or we can have our answer as 0.19. Then, not forgetting the sign. You said your answer will be negative. So this sign must be included. So our answer is negative 0.19. 77 receiving students, we are going to practice using the steps and the rule by doing the following exercises. You have 2 exercises that you are going to do. On the screen, I have the first exercise for you. I would like you to work in your groups. The exercise 1 is on the screen. If you have your student workbook, receiving students, you can check the student workbook. It is on page 55. Exercise 1 is on the screen right now. After you have finished copying exercise 1, I will change to exercise number 2. You can start now. Receiving students and Sevenis, please work in your groups and you discuss the steps and methods. To the receiving teacher, while the students are working, please check the students if they are doing or following the correct steps and using the correct rule to work out the answer. Thank you. Sevenis and receiving students, Our next exercise is on the screen now. Exercise number 2. Seven years and receiving students, our next exercise is on the screen now. Exercise number 2. 70s and receiving students, let us go through the answers. Receiving teacher, select some students to do the working out on the board for the exercise 1. 70s, you are going to do the same. I am going to select some of the students from each group to show their working out on the board, applying the steps used in multiplying decimals. 70s, let's have some volunteers. Okay, this group, Joshua, can you come up and do exercise 1A? Exercise 1A, and Madeline, can you come and do exercise B, 1B, and last one, C. We'll have Clement. Okay, quickly come to the board and write your answers down. Show your working out clearly, please. 70s and receiving students, you compare your working out with these 3 students, they're working out on the board, and we'll try to go through the working outs to see if they are correct. They will also explain what they have written down. Okay, 70s and receiving students, let's hear from our friends their explanation on how they got the answer, and you listen carefully to the steps they followed. If you don't agree with them, after their presentation, you can explain where they went wrong. Okay, you compare their work with your work, and you try and identify the steps that they missed or they didn't follow. Okay, we'll start with exercise A. Okay, the others listen.
-0.3 times -0.2. 0.3 times -2. 2 times -2 times 3 equals 6. And 2 times 0 equals 0. The answer is -0.6.
Okay, thank you. The next one, exercise B.
-0 times -0 equals 0. -8 times -9 equals 72. Answer is 0.72.
Thank you. Okay, last one. Receiving students and 7Es. The last one. After the last presentation, you are going to tell me if the 3 presentations are okay. Okay, the last one.
Negative 0.4 times negative 0.06. So 0.4, and we get 6 as a whole number. So 0.4 is equal to 1 decimal place. 0.06 is all 6 whole number. So 6 is equal to 2 decimal place. So 6 times 0 cannot. So 6 times 4 equals to 24. 1 plus 2 equals 3 decimal place. So negative 0.4 times negative 0.06 equals 0.24.
Thank you, Clement. Class, let's give them 3 big claps first. The 7Es and receiving students, our 3 friends have tried their best to work out the exercises. Now, over to you, the receiving students and 7Es. What do you think? After the 3 students, their presentation, did you think that they mentioned the steps clearly to you? Or they followed? Yes or no? Raise your hand if you think that they didn't follow the steps carefully. Bagley, what did they miss? Can you explain? Come to the board and explain what they should have done. Clearly, please. And you can also, okay, you do exercise A as an example and you explain. Yeah. Okay, can you explain to us? Okay, explain to your friends.
Okay, our number sentence says positive Okay, our number sentence says positive 0.3 times negative 0.2. Okay, the rule number 2 says write the number sentence as whole number. So, yeah, positive 3 times negative 2 gives you positive 6. Negative 6, and you reflect back to the number sentence again. So 0.3 times negative 0.2 gives you 0.6, and then you move 2 more spaces, again you'll get negative 0.06.
Okay, thank you. 7Es, do you think this explanation is clear? Do you all agree with this explanation? Yes. Thank you, Bagley. Let's give him 5 big claps. Now, 7Es and receiving students, I will use Bagley's working out and try to explain something here. Okay, Bagley was correct by saying first step was to write the number sentence or the expression down. The second step, what was the second step? Is it to write it in this form as whole number, multiply whole number, or what are we going to do? The second step, we check the signs. The second step, you check the signs. This is a positive number, is it? Yes. Okay, and this is a negative. So we have these two signs, positive and negative. So the rule that we'll be using is here. Very good. Positive times negative, our answer will be negative. And we will remember that the answer that we get must be in negative. Thirdly, we are to multiply the numbers as whole numbers, like what Bagley has done. So 0.3, he wrote it as 3 times 0.2, he wrote it as 2. So 3 times 2 is equals to 6. So you definitely know that your answer will be 6. Now, to come to your final answer, you check how many number of decimal places. To do that, you write the expression again, 0.3 times negative 0.2, and you count how many decimal places are there, and 1 and 2. There should be 2 decimal places. So, after you know that there are 2 decimal places, is Bagley correct by writing 0.6 here? Yes or no? Yes or no? Is Bagley correct by writing 0.6 here? Bagley, there's a mistake here. You should write 0.06. Okay? 0.06. And then after that, your final answer is negative 0.06. Is that clear, Bagley? Okay. Very good. Now let's look at B. Let's look at B. B, we are going to apply the same rule again. First, let's write it down as it is. And then secondly, we check the signs. We have a negative and a positive. So the rule we are going to use is what? Positive times negative is equals to negative. Secondly, we are going to multiply as whole numbers. So we are going to multiply 0.8. The whole number will be 8 times 0.9 will be 9. So 9 times 8 is 72. Okay. Now, next step, we are going to check decimal. So 0.8 times negative 0.9. Okay, it is equals to how many decimal places after, how many decimal places here? 2 or 1? 1. And here? 1. So total will be how many decimal places? 2. So this 72 here, when we write 72 here, we're going to move 2 decimal places to the left or to the right? To the right. Right or left? Okay, we are going to move 2 decimal places to the left. So we'll start after 2, and then we're going to move forward 1, 2. So this will be our decimal place. And then we know that this will be 0. So our answer will be, not forgetting the 0.72, and what did we say? Our rule, our answer must be in negative. So we have negative in front. So what will be our answer? 0.72. Very good. Can you see it clearly now? How you can multiply decimal numbers? Okay, the last one, C. What is the first step? Write the expression down. Second step, we check the signs. So which sign can we find here? One negative and the other negative. So the sign the rule that we are going to use is negative times Negative equals to positive. The answer will be in positive. Next step, we are going to multiply in all numbers. So 0.4, what will be the whole number? 4 times 6. Very good. So 6 times 4? 24. Now, let's write it in the normal expression of the decimal. Negative 0.4 times negative 0.06. So how many decimal places in the first one? 1. And what about the second one? 2. So total will be 3. Okay. So this 24 here will be written here. Now let's move the decimal place after 4. We're going to move it to the left. So from here, we're going to count how many times to the left? 3. 1, 2, 3. That will be our decimal place. And this will be 0. So we are going to have 0 in front. So 0.024. So our answer will be positive 0.024. This will be our answer. Is that clear? Okay. That should be our answer. With that, 7th and receiving students, by now you should know how to multiply decimal numbers, especially dealing with directed numbers. Okay? Now, let's look at our summary for today's lesson. Our summary for today's lesson, again, you are going to look at the steps applied in multiplying directed numbers as decimals. Class, what is the first step that you have to follow? Again, loud and clear. And 2? Three. And finally, thank you. With that, 7th and receiving students, our key phrase for today's lesson is directed number operations, multiplication of decimals. And our next lesson will be on division of. Thank you very much, 7th receiving students and teachers, for your participation in today's lesson.